allows the customer to feel a little bit more secure with their purchase because, as we know on other marketplaces, when you're dealing with a 3P heavy assortment and you're trying to rifle through all the items, sometimes things can slip through the cracks. Sometimes you can get a faulty order or maybe, God forbid, get a counterfeit item or something like that. And it's kind of Walmart's way of making sure that the customer feels safe and secure with whatever item they're purchasing.
Hello and welcome to White Label Advice. My name is Brooke McNeely. I'm the VP of Marketing here at White Spider. I am here today with our Director of Solutions. We're here with Harry Wolanski and Zach Toste. And I did it right again. So this is exciting. All right, so we are going to talk about today is, Walmart's marketplace is just growing rapidly. It's becoming more and more competitive day by day. What can sellers do to stand out?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about the Pro Seller Badge, which is a feature that can be added to your account if you hit certain criteria in terms of performance on Walmart. It provides several different benefits, but from what we've seen working with our clients in the marketplace side is that it really helps with boosting exposure. So just overall, organic search ranks on your items will get a nice lift by having that. The second thing is Walmart, when you search for an item, now you have the ability to filter to only see items that are sold by pro sellers. Mm-hmm. So as more people start to adopt that filter, more traffic will obviously go to those listings where sellers have that badge.
So are shoppers noticing it? They're like, no, I only shop with pro seller badge.
That's a good question. I bet if we surveyed a bunch of shoppers, we probably wouldn't see a bunch of that in terms of like consciously looking for pro sellers. Mm-hmm. But I think on the back end is what we're more concerned with, and what we're, why we're looking to get the pro seller badge for our clients, is because it definitely provides that lift. So from a conversion standpoint and just general traffic on the site, I would say it's definitely worthwhile. And yeah, there's just some criteria that sellers have to hit if they want to be able to have that.
So first off, let's talk about what is the Pro Seller Badge? Like, what is it exactly? Like, for people that don't know.
So it's a badge that'll pop up on the product detail page when you're just looking through an item and getting more information on it. And it's just a badge that Walmart will provide that kind of shows that this supplier has been vetted internally by Walmart. They meet certain criteria. And I would say like probably the biggest benefit that it can provide beyond just like the general conversion lift would just be it creates a more of a fostered sense of trust with the customer, right? Because if a vendor is meeting all of these criteria and they're shipping on time, they're making sure that their fulfillment rates are good, they're making sure that their return rates are low, all those things being considered, and we'll go through a little bit more in detail, but it really just it allows the customer to feel a little bit more secure with their purchase because, as we know on other marketplaces, when you're dealing with a 3P heavy assortment and you're trying to rifle through all the items, sometimes things can slip through the cracks. Sometimes you can get a faulty order or maybe, God forbid, get a counterfeit item or something like that. And it's kind of Walmart's way of making sure that the customer feels safe and secure with whatever item they're purchasing.
So it's kind of like Walmart. If you get a Pro Seller Badge, Walmart's saying that they trust you as a seller.
Right.
So if they trust you, then their shoppers should trust you.
Exactly.
Kinda.
Yeah, and some of that criteria is like not having high return rates, mm-hmm. not having mm-hmm. high cancellation rates. So if someone places an order and you cancel it, maybe because you put stock in Seller Center but you actually don't have stock. So those types of things would make you ineligible for the Pro Seller Badge. And I think, like Zach's saying, really at the end of the day, Walmart just wants the customers to have a great experience and, get items that they're actually shopping for in good condition. So the Pro Seller Badge is an incentive for sellers to be able to, provide good service to customers. And I think it's funny because, I always tell friends and family not to shop for consumable items on Amazon. And the reason for that is Joe Schmo could be selling toothpaste out of their basement as a seller on Amazon, and no one would know unless you're in e-commerce or if you're savvy and understand that this can literally be sold by anybody because it's a marketplace.
Yeah.
When you understand that, and if you ever had an experience on Amazon where you ordered something and it arrived damaged or expired, or something like that, it really starts to make you think about, who you're buying from. And I think a trend we'll start to see is over time, people looking for pro sellers and looking for making sure that they're not buying from someone who's just selling out of their apartment bedroom or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what is the criteria? How do you become a pro seller?
So the first thing is listing quality. So majority of your catalog has to have a listing quality above 60%. The second thing is the returns and cancellations. So I believe they have to be less than 1% in terms of having those. You have to have at least 100 orders in a rolling 90-day time frame. So you have to have some volume before you'll be eligible for that. And then I think it's quarterly that they issue them, or maybe it's
Quarterly sounds right.
yeah, I think it's quarterly, where if you meet those requirements, once that next quarter hits, you'll get it. But it also means you have to maintain that criteria. Otherwise, you'll lose it just as fast as you got it.
Yeah, that was my next question. So you got your pro seller badge and you can lose it. So if it's quarterly, then it's up to you have to up to 4 times a year. You might.
Yeah, you have to stay on top of it. And I think the most important thing there is just compliance with Walmart's policies. So there's certain things that Walmart requires, and it's all available in the help docs if you're already a seller. So you can access that. And a huge thing that we see is sellers starting to list products that maybe aren't allowed, or return reasons that can get them in trouble. But I think at the end of the day, if you try to mitigate that risk as much as possible, we haven't seen too many sellers lose the pro seller badge if they're investing in it.
Yeah, and I would say, like, in general, again, it is an important thing to have that living in your seller profile, because it really just shows both the customers and Walmart that you're willing to invest the time and effort into making sure that your Walmart business is running smoothly and you're doing everything that you can within your control to make sure that you're being a good partner and a good seller on Walmart.
Awesome. And like everything in Walmart, we know that Walmart definitely evolves and changes and changes. Does the criteria ever change? Is that another thing you have to stay on top of, is making sure the criteria doesn't change and you didn't get the notice?
I think it has changed, and I would probably guess it's going to change more. They usually send an email out and give you a heads up that the criteria is changing, but I believe it used to be different, and I think there was more of a focus on reviews, and I'm not sure if that's still a requirement, but I know at some point you had to have reviews on your items to be eligible for it. So I would definitely expect that it's probably going to change over time. You just got to stay on top of it.
And the good thing is that if there ever really is any changes, the Whyte Spider team is going to be the first ones to know.
And the worst ones, because we are evolving with Walmart. We're watching that.
Of course, yeah. So if any changes do come up, any sellers that do work with us will be the first ones to know, and we're obviously going to be on top of that as much as we can.
That's good. And so if you lose your seller badge, can you get it back?
Yeah. So unless, I don't know if they have permanent ineligibility. My guess is if you broke a compliance rule, that could be a thing. But we've seen the pro seller badge come and go just on a couple of counts. So you can certainly get it back. It's just a matter of, a lot of times it's making sure logistically that you're meeting those requirements. So specifically with uploading tracking numbers to Walmart and making sure you're acknowledging orders in that time frame that's required. That's a big thing, because sometimes sellers will just take a 2-day vacation midweek, forget to acknowledge these orders, and then next thing you know, you've been slammed with this criteria. So you can certainly get it back, though.
That's good. And do we help you get it back? Is there anything that Whyte Spider can do to help you get it back?
Yeah, so we actually just worked with our internal accounts team and have come up with a framework of helping sellers get that pro seller badge. And the best part about it is that we are not going to be charging anything until that pro seller badge is achieved. So really kind of a very low to none risk reward, in the sense that you are only, in this case, getting what you pay for, right? I think what's great is when you have a team of people who are really just on top of everything that is Walmart.com. You really can't misstep, especially in a process like this, right? Like there's very strict criteria, and we're going to be working with sellers to make sure that, whether it's looking at their return rates and providing them advice on maybe how to reorganize their assortment or be a little bit more clear on product pages in order to make the customer know exactly what they're buying, whatever it might be. We're going to be trying to help as much as we can to make that process of getting that pro seller badge as easy as possible.
All right. And what does the seller suite? So we know we have our marketplace offering, our seller suite. What does the seller suite do to help sellers, kind of manage their portfolio online?
So Seller Suite is a really, really cool offering that we've developed, and Harry and Corey did an awesome job of really putting their heads together and figuring out what is important to a marketplace seller that would want to be migrating from Amazon, and what tools are they going to need that lives within the existing Whyte Spider software, and how can we repurpose what we've already got as far as the capabilities of our software that would be beneficial for sellers. So yeah, Harry, maybe you can fill Brooke in a little bit on Seller Suite.
Yeah, so exactly that. We basically looked at what is most important to marketplace sellers and just how to make the experience easier on Walmart. A lot of the things within Seller Center can just be a little tricky to figure out. So a big thing is just style guide compliance with whatever product you're selling, right? So every product has a different style guide template that Walmart issues, which of course is always changing as well. But there are certain things that you have to have in your listing to get full credit. So that one thing I mentioned about listing quality, that's a huge piece that Seller Suite can help with, and just make it super easy to show you exactly what you need to do to adjust your listing to meet that criteria. So that's a huge piece. And then we also have features such as being able to track what's out of stock in your portfolio, which contributes to what Walmart refers to as an offer score. So there's some things that, and just by understanding the back end of Walmart and really what they're looking for, we're tailoring the tool to make it easy as possible to get the Pro Seller badge and maintain it over time.
All right. Well, thank you guys. And everybody at home,
get ready
for more amazing podcasts from Zach and Harry.